friends, it's Sheila Keeter. I am the Teacher for Inclusion, which means I have a Teachers Pay Teachers shop called Teacher for Inclusion, as well as a blog also called Teacher for Inclusion. If you're interested in videos on Teachers Pay Teachers, then please don't forget to hit subscribe. Today, I'm really excited about our video because I have taken a look at 40 of some of the most successful teacher sellers on Teachers Pay Teachers. And I want to share what they do with their shop in order for us to mirror what they do so we can be more successful on Teachers Pay Teachers. I think that you'll find some relief in what you're going to learn because they're just like us. And a lot of the things that we hear that we have to do, they are not doing with their shop. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So I looked at 40 of the presenters for the Teachers Pay Teachers conference, and I went to all of their stores, and I found some of the following data that I thought was very interesting. The names of stores. So we quite often hear that you have to pick a really tricky name or a witty name, or it's got to be something memorable. And what I found is that 12 out of 40 of their stores were just their name. So it was just their first and last name. I found that the other 28 stores had teacher names. And only 7 out of the 40 stores made it obvious as to what it is that they sell. Okay, so let's go over the teacher names really quickly. So we have the Terrific Teacher Tactics, the Teaching Texan, Teacher Game Room, Conspire Teacher, Teacher's Brain, Autism Classroom, Novell ELA, Mr. Malt's Marketplace, Happy Educator, Hojo, Not So Wimpy Teacher, Dr. Jan's Math and Science Lab, World Language Classroom, Chalk and Apples, The Southern Teacher, Mrs. Thompson's Treasures, Queer Kid Stuff, Everyone Deserves to Learn, Apples and ABCs, The Sprinkle Top Teacher, Simply Coaching and Teaching, Live Through Literacy, The Simple Classroom, ESL Nexus, Flapjack Education, The Owl Teacher, The Butterfly Teacher, and Teaching and Learning. And I wanted to go over those names just because there's a lot of pressure that we get on us about choosing a name. And I didn't really see anything here that was, and I don't want to say that they're not good names. They're all good names. But there wasn't anything like extremely spectacular. Like there's Teaching and Learning, The Southern Teacher, World Language Classroom. And as I mentioned, only 7 out of the 40 shops provided information as to what the teacher is selling. Okay, so the next thing is I want to talk logo. So that's another thing that we hear a lot about is how important the logo is and the branding and the brand colors and so on and so forth. So out of 40 teachers, 10 have a logo that isn't just a picture. So that means 30 out of 40 of these teachers, 30 out of 40, have just a picture of themselves. So there isn't a lot of branding, there isn't a lot of branding colors, there isn't like a specific symbol for their class. 30 out of 40 just have a picture. All right, the next thing I wanted to look at is grade levels because I teach secondary sources. And I noticed that there's a lot of information out there for elementary resources, but not quite as much for secondary resources. And that's probably because there are a lot less secondary resources, which might be something you want to take into consideration because they might sell better. Because I know that I've had success with my shop as a secondary teacher, and that could very well be why. So 6 out of 40 teachers of these speakers or teacher sellers are selling secondary resources. So only 6 sell middle or high school resources. That means 34 out of the 40 sell elementary school resources. Now, I want to talk about niche or subject. Only 9 out of 40 of these teacher sellers, these successful teacher sellers, have a niche, meaning only 9 out of the 40 teach or sell resources for one subject. So 31 of these teacher sellers have multiple subjects on their page. So that isn't even just not a niche, that's just by subject. And even those 9 out of 40 that had one subject, only one really had like niched down to one thing. So I found that extremely interesting. And I'm going to, in a moment, go over how many different topics and subjects there are in some of these stores, in most of these stores. 0 out of 40, let's talk covers. So we always hear about, you got to have the same cover. Everything needs the same cover. And I haven't followed this rule. I haven't followed the niche rule. 0 out of 40 had like covers or the same cover. They had like a lot of the same fonts, but they had all different colors, all different covers. And I didn't find any. I only found 2 sellers who had some covers that were very similar by subject. So if they sold puzzles, then they would have similar covers that were puzzles. But they also had like math and English and science. So very diverse. There was a lot of diversity in these stores. 3 out of the 40 had a website, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. It's pretty cool. And then I'll go over the topic for the conferences. But before that, I just want to go over, because this is extremely interesting, the topics of resources that people are selling. So I'm going to talk about just a couple of the different stores. So I'm not going to put their names, but one of them has nonfiction, ELA, math, science, and they're all elementary. The next one had, skip over some of these. The next one had daily warm-ups, Enneagrams. I can't read my own writing. Isn't that nice? Community helpers, back to school, holidays, ELA, science, and social studies. Oh, and custom branding for TpT sellers. Another one had social studies, math, ELA, geography, and holiday. And this was typical. This was typical of most of these shops. I have another one here that has natural disasters, the gold rush, science, ELA, and holiday. Another one who had holiday, handwriting, math, subplans, and ELA. Here's another one who had back to school, holiday, posters, subplans, class parties, puzzles, games, decor, math, ELA, science, social studies, all elementary. Another LGBTQ, holiday, ELA, photography, special ed, ELLs, history, geography, social studies, and multilingual lessons, resources. We have another store that had holiday, social studies, crafts, games, task cards, boom cards, math, ELA, science, STEM. And again, this was pretty typical of most of these stores. ELA, vocabulary, math, character education, biology, history, nonfiction, math, STEM, science, holiday, ELA, writing, escape rooms, science, social studies, subplans, summer plans, ELA, and holiday. Holiday, French, German, interactive notebooks, kindergarten resources, language arts, math, Russian, science, social studies, Spanish. So I'm going to stop there, but the commonality between all of these stores that are successful is not the things that are like covers, brand colors, logos. It's not that. It's that they had a lot of resources. And I don't want you to be discouraged by that, because when I say a lot, I'm talking anywhere from 126 would be kind of the low to 2,000 and something. The highest was 2,206. There were a couple of people who surprisingly had, like, one of the speakers, the keynote speakers, has 8 resources, but he had a lot of reviews, and he looked very outgoing in his picture. His arms are open, and you can just tell he's probably a very outgoing person. And so he probably does very well on social media. So it doesn't mean that you can't sell if you only have a few resources, but you've got to at least get those 50 in there. All right, the topics for the conference, go over those really quick. In case you're trying to decide whether or not you want to go, they have Pinterest, start to finish, email list, PowerPoint secrets, audience, price tag, current events and products, digital resources, an easy to-do list, easel, easy systems, hiring a virtual assistant, Facebook groups, research back practices for products, high quality in-demand products, 8 essentials for writing compelling copy, video and marketing, redesigning your store, SEO wins, ESL, spicing up your resources, bring queer joy to the classroom, what administrators think of products, Instagram, 101 things TpT sellers need to know, social media, storytelling and video, webinars, memory lane, down TpT memory lane, social justice resources, using pictures, full satisfaction as a part-time seller, market with your smartphone, TpT data, blogging hate, going from blogging hate to blogging love, schedules and spaces, podcasting, and Google Slides. And that's 37 out of 40 speakers, because 3 of them are keynote speakers that we looked at. The conference is July 5th, during the week of July 5th. You can watch as many videos as you want through July 31st. It is $79. And we are now 10 days, 16 hours, 30 minutes, and 32 seconds away from the start of the conference. I hope that you will be there and learn some new things. If not, I will be sharing a lot of key points that were made at the conference. And I hope that you have a wonderful day. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Thank you. Bye-bye.